Travel has been my passion since I was a very small girl. And it preferred we believe in travel because we believe travel makes people better. And I think I've certainly felt that I've lived that throughout the course of my career. So it sort of goes all the way back to when I was just 17, a young girl, and I took my first job in corporate business travel. I decided to go for the aviation side. So I spent a little bit of time on the cargo side, and from there went into the passenger side of things with Virgin Atlantic Airways. And my first roles were actually in loyalty and sales. Prior to that, I was cabin crew. And I loved my time flying the skies, and I always believe that it helps us if we walk a mile in the customer's shoes. Once you've seen every aspect of that experience as the consumer who sits in the seat for 10 hours, you're far better placed to pick the right words, to focus on the right outputs and benefits. So time well spent there. And then once I sort of got my feet under the table at the airline, I started to pay a bit more attention to what was going on in the world. Sort of drawn to what Expedia at that time were doing, and a company that, back then we would know as Travelocity. And I joined a company called UTEL and Pegasus, which were two entities combined at that point in time. And that was where I got my schooling in distribution. And I was then able to build out my expertise in digital, all the different distribution channels. We built out some of the industry's first affiliate programs, and it was an excellent grounding that then set me up for the next move that I made, which was actually to Dubai, where I joined a luxury hospitality group called Jumeirah, and there I was responsible for their distribution, their call centers, their digital side of things. And each one of these moves, as you probably started to notice, is acting a bit like a building block, designed as large company, small company, large company, small company. Because when you're in a large company, you're very narrow in your role, but you can go deep, and you have the opportunity to explore a little bit more. When you then move to a smaller company, you might wear 2 or 3 different hats, so shallow but broad. And I think that if you think about your skill sets and your learning through your career, you're then able to apply, learn more, build. So I have done loyalty, I have worked in sales, I have been frontline, out on the road, I've driven many miles, spent a little bit of time on revenue management, and then of course on the digital strategy side of things. So really all of those disciplines set me up very well to strengthen my true passion, which is branding and marketing. From that point onwards, I stayed in luxury lodging and hospitality, both with Viceroy and now with Preferred Hotels, to see what's not visible and to hear what's not said. It comes from a curiosity, and a very natural curiosity. And I tend to look at the world around me and cross-pollinate all the time. You start to realize how innovation and opportunity is everywhere. To be confident in your work. I haven't regretted any of the decisions that I've made in terms of the steps and the turns that I've taken, but maybe I should have had more confidence when I was negotiating into those roles, or while in those roles. Part of that just comes with experience and maturity of years. Every single one of us needs to know that if we are in a position, it's because the people who put us there saw something in us, a spark, something of a great opportunity, and that we should be confident in that and build on that and be prepared to ask for what we think we are worth. Don't worry about the stretch, because you've got long legs. You literally, you have to believe yourself into that position. Challenge number 1 for me is, how do I understand the psyche, or the revised psyche of the consumers that I am trying to speak to? Okay, and that may change from place to place. And it might have been that we look at the world in terms of 4 regions. Now we have to look at the world at a far more granular level, where before we would think of the world as a country, perhaps as a discrete continent. Challenge number 2 is, how do I keep my team focused and excited about the opportunities ahead of us? Because right now, a lot of what we're seeing in the media and what we're hearing is the very unfortunate side of the side effects of the pandemic, and those are very pronounced for our industry, of course, in travel and hospitality. But at the same time, as I pointed out earlier when we were talking about superpowers, there's innovation and a silver lining to this, because literally when we are forced into a corner is when we are at our most creative. Having the ability to learn more about each other has helped to inspire the team to focus, to maintain their excitement, and to say that my glass is half full. There's still opportunity, much opportunity ahead of us. So that conversation, far more regular connection with each other, allowing those conversations to go in places they wouldn't normally go. Honestly, I think giving people the time they need to maybe go off and do other things. It's about providing platforms for individuals to have a voice. So empowerment, the right outlets, the right exposure for individuals in the team so they can shine and be seen within a large organization. And then that allows them to have a voice. So for me, it's all about finding ways for my team to go ahead of me. Hopefully the values that my team see in me is to empower them, to provide opportunity, to give them a platform to enable their voice. I would also add to that honesty and direct dialogue.